Privyet. Hello everyone. You're on the Slavic News Channel, and in this video, we'll discuss the most significant updates on the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. We have a lot of interesting updates, so let's begin. We have significant updates along the combat lines, with notable changes on the map. President Zelensky and his team attempted to minimize noise and updates from the front lines ahead of the NATO summit in Washington. In the Vovchansk area, Ukrainian forces managed to regain control of the southern part of the stronghold, pushing Russian forces back. However, Russian forces continue to bomb and attack Ukrainian troops attempting to cross the river, causing significant losses. Ukrainian sources have released videos showing their attacks on Russian positions within the industrial zone, indicating some progress. But the situation remains challenging, with ongoing heavy fighting. Regarding the aggregate plant, Ukrainian forces have been actively targeting Russian positions within the industrial zone. Recent videos show Ukrainian strikes on Russian-held buildings, suggesting some areas have been recaptured. However, the overall control of the plant remains contested, with heavy fighting reported. In the Seversk area, Russian forces have been conducting heavy bombardments on Ukrainian positions. The central parts of Seversk, including the railway station and warehouses, have been targeted. This offensive aims to cut off Ukrainian artillery pockets and strengthen Russian control over the region. The battle for Seversk is expected to be a significant engagement in the coming months. Further updates come from the Chasiv Yar direction. Russian forces have advanced, crossing the Seversky-Donetsk-Donbass Canal and entering parts of the forest near Chasiv Yar. This maneuver suggests an attempt to encircle Ukrainian positions. Ukrainian sources have published videos showing their attempts to hold off these advances using drones and artillery strikes. Now we are moving probably to the most important territory and to the most important changes on the ground, and we are talking about Terezhsk agglomeration. Today the Ukrainian sources published something unbelievable, and this map shows the changes. As you can see, the Russians managed to break through the Ukrainian defense belt and to capture significant fortification areas. The Russians captured those important strongholds. Those are the landfill, Terikon, and also the coal mine. And according to pro-Ukrainian sources, the Russians captured these territories as a result of clashes during the previous 3 days or 4 days. Russian managed to enter and to reach the next citadel inside of the stronghold itself, so obviously the Ukrainian defense belt collapsed in this area, and this is very important progress. The battle is already taking place inside of this area, and as you can see, the Russians managed to develop this Terezhsk offensive operation, without any progress from the southern part, without additional progress from the northeastern part, and of course, without any progress towards the main supply road, which confirms that Ukrainian defense in this area is so poor that they are not able to protect even the territory that has significant number of strongholds inside. It a big disaster for the Ukrainians. As for Novoalexandrovka area, the Russians managed to improve their positions as well. According to different mappers, the Russians improved their territory and captured these 3 lines, and these fortifications getting closer and closer to the next village by the name of Vozdvizenka. So as you can see, the situation for the Ukrainians is very bad. As for Sokol, we have additional updates also from different mappers that the Russians managed to improve their positions and to capture Sokol completely. Ukrainians are forced to fall back and tried slowing down the Russians by FPV droning them and artillery striking on them. We have additional progress of the armed forces of Russian Federation towards the village of Novosolovka Persha. Also, according to pro-Ukrainian sources, additional gains were discovered by the Ukrainians, and the Russians are getting closer and closer, and very soon the battle for the village itself is going to start. The critical situation continued developing in the town by the name of Krasnogorovka. According to information we have, the Russians managed to improve their positions along Grigoriev-Skvorodina Street. This one additional gains. As you can see, the Russians are trying to dig in deeper between Ukrainian positions, and according to information we have, the Russians also captured the northern part of the stronghold. Most likely the Ukrainians, if there are still Ukrainians in this citadel, are planning to begin withdrawing process, and they're going to do this very soon, trying to avoid the possible encirclement by the Russian forces. And according to some in resources, the Ukrainians have already made this, and there are no more Ukrainians. In Maximilianovka, the Russians continue offensive operation. According to unconfirmed reports, the Russians managed to improve their positions inside of the village by the name of Maximilianovka and to capture additional tree line and additional few buildings, so the active phase of clashes for this village also continue. And after this, the Russians will begin the battle for Kurakovo. Also, according to different sources, the Russians managed to improve their positions between the fields between Novomykhailovka and Pobeda, trying to maintain the line of combat contact. As for Zaporizhzhia, we have no changes on the ground, just regular updates, but the important thing is that the Russians continue sending additional reinforcements, significant number of armored vehicles, personal carriers, and tanks, and many other armored arms the Russians are sending to Zaporizhzhia and Kherson direction, so something big probably is going to start happening in this area. As well, during the previous night, the Russians also managed to discover another Ukraine S-300 position in the vicinity of Odessa, and as a result of this counter-strike, that S-300 system was destroyed. This concludes our update. Slavic News Channel condemns any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Have a great day. Goodbye.